Good morning, good afternoon, good Thursday, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to join this webinar. My name is Jeroen van Den, and I'm a product manager at Rocket Software. I'm based in the Netherlands. And joining me today is Paula Amsler, our principal customer solution engineer that specializes in ConnectiQ. So let's have a look at the agenda for today. So these are the topics we will be covering in the session today. We'll start with a brief overview of Rocket Software and what we stand for. Then I will talk about our new ConnectIQ solution and the problem it solves for our customers, and I'm really excited about that. And Paula will then talk about what's new in the most recent releases, followed by a demo, and we'll end with Q&A if we have time. So let's start with a quick introduction to Rocket Software. So the pyramid you see on the right side of the slide is what we call the Rocket Innovation Stack. And the Rocket Innovation Stack is all about modernizing, automating, and innovating on platform. So at some point, every organization encounters a challenge up or down this stack, whether it's providing access to core applications, enabling business transparency through reporting, securing data and applications, enabling cloud, hybrid cloud, building ALM or DevOps platforms, modernizing applications, and more. So for 30 years, customers have turned to Rocket Software to help solve technical and business problems up and down this technology stack, all while building resiliency and strength within the organization. So this innovation stack applies to multiple platforms. We have solutions for IBM I, Power, mainframes obviously, as well as traditional x86 platforms with a focus on legacy systems, or remake, legacy, legendary. So we have these great solutions and technology, but it really is our core values that differentiates us. It's our core values of empathy, humanity, trust, and love that enables us to deliver to our customers time and time again. We'll get to ConnectIQ in a second, but I really want to spend a little time on this slide. Our core values are not just talking points, but are exemplified in how we treat our customers, partners, and fellow Rocketeers. In the second quarter last year, all of us at Rocket, so from software development to technical support, from professional services to customer success, from sales to marketing, and we all focused our efforts on helping our existing customers and partners through, the craziness that was 2020. And this program was called From Rocket with Love. And one great example of this is that we offered our web-based terminal emulator for free to help IT teams quickly provide access to critical applications running on I or Z systems to workers who were suddenly remote. Another example, states across the US were overwhelmed with unemployment claims and other requests because of COVID. And one Midwestern state saw 10 times the number of claims it typically does. And suddenly states' systems were under tremendous demand. Obviously, the mainframe was able to handle that demand as it was built for it. But that said, there were certain situations in which a programmer was needed. And between the internal expertise we have in-house and the relationship we have with the Open Mainframe project, so the open source initiative, we were able to connect states to the help they needed. So we didn't sell anything, we just connected the dots. So our growth and resilience over the last 30 plus years is a testament to the fact that those values are woven into everything we do. We're a global company that treats our customers just like the friendly neighbor next door. All right, so let's shift gears and talk about Rocket's new offering, ConnectIQ. So Rocket acquired ConnectIQ last year, and we're really excited to welcome the ConnectIQ team and the ConnectIQ customers to the Rocket family. And for those of you that are not familiar with RocketIQ and the problems it solves, I'll talk about that in the next slides. So Rocket ConnectIQ is the only Rocket process automation solution that will deliver quick and significant return on investment from automating your mainframe processes. And that's because we have decades of experience developed for the mainframe. We are mainframe experts, so you don't have to be. And one of the benefits of ConnectIQ is that it will reduce the error rate. Common errors like invalid zip codes or entering ST where the system expects street, for example, those errors can be detected and addressed by a robot without requiring any human interaction. Now, without that robot, a customer would have to call support to get a particular record updated, and support would have to find out how to fix that error and then communicate back to the customer. This does not only increase the workload on an organization, but it also impacts customer satisfaction. Another benefit of automating repetitive, often tedious tasks is that it frees employees to focus on more engaging activities, which results in higher productivity or more valuable tasks to the organization. Reps can focus on higher value customer interactions instead of mechanical tasks, which will improve the quality of customer service and support, for example. More engaging activities like these will improve the workers' job satisfaction and reduce churn. Now, the key metric when it comes to automating those mainframe processes is the automated transaction processing rate. What percentage of your automated transactions can run successfully without human intervention? And this metric is also known as the first pass rate or the auto adjudication rate. Obviously, you want the rate to be as high as possible, and ConnectIQ can automate 90+% of routine transactions, leading to faster throughput on claims processing, payments, and other business operations. So not only is it faster and more accurate, but it has a much higher throughput as well. For all those robots work 24/7 instead of the regular 8 hours a human would work. So let's look at ConnectIQ in more detail. So ConnectIQ is a standalone platform, and it converts mainframe green screens to web services. It's non-intrusive, so nothing is stored on the mainframe and no mainframe changes are needed. And as this is a server-based solution, it directly works on the existing 3270 data stream rather than relying on screen scraping or emulator-based approaches, and this makes it much more reliable. It's an easy-to-use environment as well. The development environment, or the IDE, which is called Configure, is extremely easy to use, where even a business user can create tasks and automate them. So think about the kind of processes that you might want to replicate and automate. You break those down into steps, and each of those steps become tasks within ConnectIQ. So this could be logging in, reading and returning a set of data fields, updating a record, such as a customer account, a claim, a bank account info, or an order, and then submitting that back into the system. And because these tasks are small and standalone, you can create them once and then reuse them over and over again. And it creates these usable web services that can be used to integrate with other applications, such as putting a new web front end on the mainframe, or integrating with other applications or websites, or even with an iOS or Android app. It supports what we call both attended and unattended automation. So attended automation is where it can be incorporated into a workflow that the user is already doing. But where ConnectIQ has been most successful is in this unattended process automation space. For example, start a process to look for these claims that are stuck in the system, determine what's wrong with them, resolve them, and then submit them back into the system automatically. And this can run without any human interaction and can be scheduled to run at any time. And as I mentioned, business users, so not just programmers, are able to design this automation with straightforward tools that we provide. So not only is this easy to use, but it scales to support thousands of sessions concurrently on a single platform as well. So moving on to the next slide. I mentioned ConnectIQ can automate 90+% of your routine transactions. And you might wonder what to do about the remaining tedious 10% that still requires human intervention. Well, we have solutions there too. We help customers on the complete modernization journey from end to end. So we provide best-in-class terminal emulation with a modern and intuitive interface. We offer application modernization solutions that can help transform those tedious tasks in streamlined processes with modern user experience. And we now offer a ConnectIQ, enabling RPA on the mainframe. So this isn't something we could offer before. So again, I'm really excited to welcome the ConnectIQ team to Rocket. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paula, who will talk about the recent release highlights for ConnectIQ.
Thank you, Jerome. This is Paula, and welcome everybody. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the latest and greatest features of ConnectIQ, and then we're actually going to see it in action. Some of you on this webinar are familiar with ConnectIQ and some of you aren't. But what I want to stress is that we improve ConnectIQ based on feedback from our customers. That's always important. And that goes back to our core values. We listen to our customers. And even though ConnectIQ is new to Rocket, it is not a new solution. It's been around for almost 20 years in different flavors and forms. The most current version has 3 pretty important features that I think were added based on customer feedback. So the first feature is called session management, where in the past, your mainframe sessions were not visible. You couldn't see them, you had no visibility into what they were doing, where they were, maybe they were stuck. So we've added session management so that you can see all the different mainframe connections. And as Jeroen said, you can have up to, a single server can manage up to 3,000 different sessions. So you can see each one of those sessions and manage those sessions individually. Maybe a single session has become stuck. A robot got stuck on a screen and can't continue. Instead of your whole system being stuck, you can release just that one session and leave the other 2,999 running as they were. That's an important feature, having visibility into what those sessions are currently doing. Another feature is we've improved the playback functionality. So there's a development tool and there's a server. I'm going to show you both parts of that. But the previous versions had different playback engines, one engine in the tool and one engine at the server. And that caused for a little bit of inconsistency between development and production. And so we've removed that inconsistency. They now use the exact same engine, so what you get is what you see. Whatever you develop is going to work the same way in the tool as it does on the server. So that's a great feature to eliminate errors. And then the third best feature that was in the newest versions, not just this latest version, but within the last few years, is we've upgraded the web services technology. When ConnectIQ first came out over a decade ago, it used SOAP, and it used the version of SOAP from over a decade ago. And things have changed. Technology has moved on. So we've improved the SOAP technology and also added REST technology. And those are the two most common web services technologies in play today. So we support both, and we support the most modern versions of both of those. So let's see ConnectIQ in action. I'm going to talk about ConnectIQ at a high level because we don't have a whole lot of time, and I know some of the people on this phone are new to ConnectIQ and some are not. Some have been using it for years. ConnectIQ, as Jeroen has said, is a way to integrate your mainframe data into some other process, whether it's full-blown automation or a new look and feel user interface. You can take your decades of mainframe applications that have bulletproof logic and data in them and integrate them into other processes without losing that data, without having to convert that data to or change the data. So ConnectIQ has three different components to it. The first component is the server piece. That's where all the magic happens. That's where the sessions are connected and you can navigate your mainframe screens the same way as a human would do that. The server allows you to, first of all, publish your web services. So that is what ConnectIQ is. It is a web services platform that allows you to take your mainframe processes and workflows and expose them as web services so that they can be called by other applications. So you use the server to publish your web services, and then you also use your server to status any existing sessions. I don't have any running right now. I'll have some in a couple of minutes. So the first part of ConnectIQ is the server piece, and that's, again, where the magic happens. The second part of ConnectIQ is called the development tool. And that's where you build your web services. It's called Configure, and it allows you to build as many tasks as necessary to represent some sort of workflow. So I've got a very simple project open right now. It has just 3 tasks where I can log in, I can search for claims that might be stuck in the system, and then I can retrieve details about a single claim. Within this development tool, I can build really powerful tasks that have error handling, have multiple scenarios. I can create hundreds of tasks within a single project to represent my workflow. There's really no limit to the size. Within the tool, I can record my navigation so I can get a starting point, just navigate naturally. It has a built-in emulator in it. I have a script editor that allows me to take my recorded navigation and add more functionality to it, but as powerful as it is, it's still very easy to use. There are only 15 different verbs that you need to learn how to use. So learning how to use Configure is pretty straightforward. And once you've mastered it, you can create really powerful tasks that represent your mainframe work. I'm going to just show you another one. That was the login task. I can play the claims detail. It's going to go off and find a single claim and return me information from that screen. I can also add a new task very easily. If I want to add a new task, I'm going to add task to log off. I don't have one to log off of my mainframe. So I'll create a new task and I can start with recording. I don't have to build it from scratch. I can say, let me navigate naturally, and configure will record all this steps. So natural log off would be to F3 from here, and then F3 from here, and F3 from here, and I've logged off. So I can disconnect. And it recorded all those keystrokes for me. And now I have another task. I would then naturally go into the script editor, maybe add error handling, add some retrieval maybe of my log off message complete, anything that I want to return. And that reminds me that every task can have a series of inputs and outputs. Whatever I need to accomplish that task, I can pass in all the data to accomplish that task and return as much data as I want to. So this is the development tool. Once I've created the tasks that I want to represent my workflow, I can upload them to the server so that they can be published. So I'm going to upload this particular project, and I added a log off. Only takes a few seconds on a project this size. If I go back to the server, let's just walk through how you publish your web service. It's very easy. So under the administration, once I've uploaded my project, I can publish it. When you publish it, you get to make a few choices. The first choice is whether you want to use SOAP or REST, and you can use both. You can publish it twice. You can publish it once as a SOAP web service and once as a REST web service. The other thing you provide is the path to that web service. It's just a directory on the server. I can call it claims, I can call it tests, whatever that path is. I get to choose who can access that web server. And that's another feature of ConnectIQ I want to touch on, is the security that is built into ConnectIQ. So everything's encrypted. The ConnectIQ works on HTTPS with certificates, so no one can access ConnectIQ without being authenticated. No one can call the web service without being authenticated. You cannot just, if you know the URL, get to it. You have to have the user credentials to be able to call that web service. And then the third decision that you make is which version do you want to publish as that web service. So as you make changes to your project and add tasks or fix tasks or add more functionality to tasks, you're going to upload, and each one will be available on the server. So a single platform can support development, test, production, QA, however many different environments that you have. You can make one version available for production, and while that's being used by your production users, you can make another version available for your QA team so they can be testing new features, and it's all supported by one platform. You can also roll back to the previous version with a click of a button. If you deploy something and it's in production and the phones start ringing saying something's not working right, you can come out here and very quickly roll back to a previous version and save it, and it will be used immediately. So that's how you publish your web services. So let's see ConnectIQ in action. So there's a couple of use cases that I'm going to show you. One is just putting a new face on your mainframe. So we all know mainframes have been around for a long time. They've got a bad rap for being hard to navigate, hard to learn. That was my first job, navigating mainframe screens. So I understand that there's no drop-down boxes, there's no radio buttons or check boxes. You have to know what to type. So it's hard to train people today on how to use mainframe screens. So instead of ditching your mainframe, you can just put a cleaner front end on it. So this is an example. It's a very simple web application. My users can log in. And when they hit the sign on button, it actually calls that login transaction or that login task that we were just seeing. Behind the scenes, it's doing it. I don't even see the mainframe screens. Now I'm presented with some other user interface, and I can say, well, I want to go find claims that have the M201. When I click on that, it executed that claim search task that we saw in that project. If I click on a claim number, he's retrieving those details. So everything's happening behind the scenes on the mainframe, just as if I were navigating it, but I've given my user a more friendly user interface. Let's talk now about those sessions. So we talked about being able to manage the sessions, and I can see now that I do have a session out there. He's sitting there waiting for my user to do the next thing, because each task runs very quickly. And I'm going to search for another edit code. I won't be able to see it because by the time I come over here, he's done. But this shows me my sessions, and if I log off, my session will go away. I'll refresh my screen, my session will go away. Let's see a stuck session in action so we can see how to manage that. I'm going to log in with a different user who maybe isn't set up correctly on the mainframe. When I sign with him and he tries to go search, the search doesn't come back. He's stuck. And I can see over at ConnectIQ that I do have a session out there and he's running this task, but he's not returning. Something's wrong. Obviously, I could fix that in the task, but in the meantime, I don't want this session to remain out there consuming resources. So I can destroy or close that one session at will, and it releases those mainframe resources, and he'll be gone. Another use case is just full-blown automation, and we've done that with web applications in the past. You can use RPA tools such as UiPath, Blue Prism, whatever automation tools you want to use. But the beauty of ConnectIQ is that it integrates with all of them because it's just pure web services. I'm going to show you an example of an RPA solution. So this is a web application that's currently already started it. It's running a handful of robots at the same time, and you can see that this is just for a demonstration purpose, how fast the robots are navigating those mainframe screens. This one's actually running 3 all simultaneously. Each robot is navigating the screens it needs to accomplish the task that it's been set to do. Maybe it's to resolve a specific edit code or to look up members, whatever the process that it's working. It's all doing it very quickly at the server level. And so this shows you an example of integrating your mainframe navigations into some automation solution. Like I said, we integrate perfectly with UiPath, Blue Prism, other automation tools on the market. If your process that you're trying to automate includes any kind of mainframe navigation, you want to have ConnectIQ. It's going to be faster, it's going to be more accurate because it doesn't integrate with the screen. It's not screen scraping, it's integrating with the 3270 data stream. So we're interrogating that stream directly. We take the emulator out of the picture. And that is a demonstration of ConnectIQ. And now I think we're going to turn it over to any questions and questions that have come in. Jennifer?
Thanks, Paula. Just a quick, we're going to switch over to Q&A. I think there's a couple questions in here. Let's go over the first one. So how many concurrent sessions can ConnectIQ support?
ConnectIQ can support up to 3,000 concurrent sessions. Pretty powerful, but I will tell you, the biggest customer that I have has 200 to 300 running at any given point in time. So ConnectIQ can support anybody's need.
Okay, great. Let's see what else. How does the licensing work?
So licensing, there's two parts to the licensing. When you purchase ConnectIQ, you get a license that says, I have ConnectIQ. It's just an on and off that says ConnectIQ can run. And then the second part of the licensing is concurrent sessions. So however many sessions you want running, that's how many licenses you need, and they're concurrent.
Okay, great. And what if I already have an RPA solution?
Excellent question. That's something I just touched on there at the end. If you already have an automation solution, ConnectIQ fits right into that strategy because it is just a web service call. So whatever processes you're trying to automate, if part of that process is a mainframe piece, mainframe navigation, mainframe data, you can integrate that with that automation solution just by services.
And I think we have time for just one more. So let me see here. I saw that rocket logos in the demo. Will there be a new release soon?
Yes, absolutely. So as Jeroen talked about, this is a fairly new acquisition at Rocket. Rocket acquired ConnectiQ about 4 months ago. So within the last 4 months, we've been working on rebranding it to have the Rocket name throughout. And then as part of that, we're adding some of the newest things that customers have asked for, and we're hoping to have a new release, I think, at the end of April.
Great. Well, I think we're just about out of time here. I just want to thank everyone for joining today. There will be a survey at the end of the webinar. So when we close it, there'll be a survey. And then also, just if you look in the chat, if you'd like to receive a demo, just click on that form, or just let us know via the chat, or if you'd like to let us know in the survey, that would be great as well. And with that, I just want to say thank you for your time, Paula and Haroon, and we look forward to talking again.